So the other day I was, rummaging through my stuff, looking for fonts to do, and all of a sudden I find this. And I look at it and I go, wow, that's pretty cool. I want to do that. And that is how this video came to be. That is how I found my new favorite traditional calligraphy script. And it's really weird because not very many people know about this one. It goes pretty under the radar, at least with the general public. Let me introduce you to Proto-Gothic. Invented in the early 12th century and used throughout it, this is often known as Early Gothic or Late Caroline. The pen is held at a 40-degree angle nearly the entire time while you're doing it, which is great news for me because I hate having to change the angle for certain letters on basically any traditional calligraphy script. So that's like one of my main draws to this. The other one is that a bunch of the letters just don't look very Gothic, and yet they still have this really Gothic look to them. I can't really describe it past that, but it's really cool to me. I don't know why. One of my other main draws to this particular script is that the ascenders and descenders are kind of small, so you can write it in small enclosed spaces as well as more spacious areas, and it will look just as good in both senses. In order to effectively do Proto-Gothic, you will have to hold the pen at a 40-degree angle, which is great news for me since that's about where I hold my pen normally when writing in my normal handwriting. Additionally, like I said, scripts that involve you having to change the angle for various letters are always a pain just because I have to check most times what the angle is for each individual letter, and chances are I get it wrong if I try to do it by memory, so that's always better. Now, displayed here, and very nicely displayed here, might I add, through the use of the camera angle, are the Gothic capitals that I used in order to have something that fits the aesthetic of Proto-Gothic. These are listed as Gothic Capitals 1 in the calligraphy Bible that I used for basically all of these videos, but they might be known as something else in a different culture or among other calligraphers, etc. The book also lists that Quadratic capitals and Caroline capitals also work with this. However, I like these more personally. It's all your preference. I just wanted to show that capitals do indeed work, and you don't just have to make bigger versions of the letters as you do with other fonts and scripts. Now, one of the best things about Proto-Gothic is that it's, well, simple. Really, that's kind of where its beauty comes from for me. You don't need any fancy schmancy flourishing techniques or dual stems to make this script look really pretty. It just kind of always does. It's amazing in that way. I'm not even doing it that well here, and I still manage to make it look somewhat presentable. Now, on the other hand, the alternative is when used in a more complex manner. A good example of this is not shown here, though, as I am just kind of messing around in this clip as I try to find out how to really use this effectively in a way that doesn't make it look too flashy. What I went for was a bunch of double-stemmed stems, but it doesn't really work in the way I was expecting. However, it still manages to look at least somewhat decent, despite the fact that I really didn't know what I was doing. And that's the beauty of Proto-Gothic. It really does not need much in order to be effective at being a really, really nice script to look at. Also, follow-up point, this X that I do here, this is the actual X, and it's really weird, and I don't like it, just because it's just so strange, honestly. Now, this is sort of my specialty when it comes to Gothic. I really enjoy doing these little markings around each and every corner. It's sort of just like the antithesis of balance, but I really enjoy it. Lucid, why didn't you do another video on Comic Sans? Or a video on a more well-known font like italics? And the answer to that is, for the first one, and the second one is, well, I think italics is kind of overrated, but that's a video for another day, I suppose. The reason I did this font is that when I found it, it was just neatly tucked away in one of the corners of my calligraphy book. It was a gem, and it was a hidden one at that. I hadn't even known that this font had existed, despite the fact that I've torn through this book countless amounts of times. And yet, I found it to be beautiful, in a sense. Even with its, well, relatively unknown nature, I feel like it was even underrated, in a sense, among calligraphers. Despite the fact that italics is everywhere, and it's like the go-to thing for simple calligraphy, this one is often overlooked as an alternative to that, since it's just as simple, but without any of the relatively limited italics that come up. There's really not much more you can do with that script that hasn't been already done. I see a lot of untapped potential with this script in particular, so I had to do a video on it, I guess. Maybe I'd be doing an injustice to the 12th century calligraphers who came up with it in the first place if I didn't at least show a few people, that this was a thing that existed. So I hope you all enjoyed meeting my new favorite traditional calligraphy script, Proto-Gothic. Thank you. Thank you all so much for watching. I put a lot of effort into this one, so if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. I also have a Discord server in the description if you want to go see more of my stuff or talk with other people who watch the same sort of content or whatever. Make sure to check out my other videos. I make a lot of calligraphy-based stuff, and I've been doing this for almost 5 years now, so I'm kind of proud of myself for making it this far. Haven't really done that with my other hobbies, so I hope you enjoy. I'm not going to talk your ear off or anything. Thank you for watching, and stay lettering.